Earlier today in Lincoln, former Nebraska Huskers interim head football coach Mickey Joseph was arrested.
The news still a shock to many across the state. 6 News sports director Joe Nugent joins us with the very latest.
John and Lauren, Lincoln police say around 2 o'clock this afternoon they were called to a Lincoln home on South 34th and Tree Line Drive. After investigating, officers arrested Mickey Joseph, who is 54, at a separate location. He was booked into the Lancaster County Jail. Joseph is facing charges of strangulation and third-degree domestic assault. No court documents have been filed yet to give details on what led up to the arrest. Nebraska's athletic director Trev Alberts released a statement saying he's aware of the charges and has placed Joseph on administrative leave based on university policy. It was just 5 days ago Joseph wrapped up a 3-6 run as interim head coach, his first opportunity to lead a program at this level, and because of the job he did, there was a lot of support from players and the fan base. His performance was likely one that would serve his career very well going forward, but this has all taken a very big turn. We'll of course be following the story and have more as details are released.